The Superdome in New Orleans. There is no place quite like this ballpark. And the match today is the New York Giants against the New Orleans Saints. Giants 0-4, the Saints 1-3. What a magnificent ballpark this is, and we'll be looking, in the beginning at least, at Joe Pisarcik at quarterback for the Giants. But there is a possibility we'll see Phil Simms, the #1 draft choice.
The NFL on CBS. Today's game is sponsored by Ford and your local Ford dealers, the people who bring you the better idea, cars and trucks for the 80s. The Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. And by Levi's Sportswear, where quality never goes out of style.
The Saints and the Giants, and good afternoon to you. I'm Pat Summerall. This, of course, is Tom Brookshire. The Saints, the #1 offensive team. The Giants struggling at best.
Well, they had rushed a little bit better against the Eagles, but still lost the game. The thing here is to control Archie Manning. The Giants have played pretty good defensive football, and they've really got a whale of a task. He's in great shape physically. He's got Wes Chandler. Childs can jump out of the ballpark. I think offensively, the Saints might be one of the best teams in football.
You know, Tommy, as you read the New York papers and talk to people in New York, the great concern seems to be, what about Phil Simms? When is he going to get a chance? He's the #1 draft choice, and people are just waiting.
They say he looks and acts and throws like Terry Bradshaw, which is a pretty good recommendation.
Yes,
I watched him clean it off in practice, and I personally don't think that he can get any experience sitting on the bench. You might as well go out and see what it's like.
We have a pretty good possibility, we understand, of seeing that young man, Phil Simms, this afternoon. Right now, you're looking at Garo Yepremian, who is set to kick off, but also today is in quest of adding to his record of 17 consecutive successful field goals. He got number 17 last week. Sorry, Thomas.
That's all right. Not too deep. Pretty good kick, though, by Garo. Pretty deep.
Billy Taylor for the Giants out to about the 25. And that's where they will start it off with that group.
And what a job that they've done offensively getting it together. Coppin, Simmons, the young rookie, Jim Plack always in there, JT Turner, and Gordon Gravel, number 71, and of course Shirks at tight end.
The rest of the lineup like that. Joe Pisarcik, number 9 at quarterback, Doug Coder and Ken Johnson, the rookie, at fullback, Jimmy Robinson and Johnny Perkins, the wide receivers. Robinson comes wide to the left, and Pisarcik will have 1st and 10. From his own 25, 0-0, opening moments. Coder gets the first call, and Coder gets a couple before he's taken down by Ken Bordelon.
Coder comes in with a 3.4-yard average, but this defensive team has allowed 5.2 a rush. Alois Grooms, Bennett, Derlin Moore, the big Oklahoma guy, and Don Reese, of course. He used to play with Miami. Pretty good pass rusher.
Linebackers, the ex-Giant Pat Hughes is number 54. He'll be on the right side. The other two are both hitters. And that's the secondary.
And it's healthy for the first time this year.
And that'll make a big difference. It'll be 2nd and about 8. Pisarcik gets straight ahead to Johnson. He is tripped up as soon as he gets the ball.
Pisarcik's numbers, by the way, are 40 of 99 attempts, 498 yards, a 40.4 percentile on completions, but he's never underthrown anybody. He can airmail it.
That was Derlin Moore who made the stop before Johnson got back to the line of scrimmage, so it'll be 3rd down now. And they still need about 8, maybe 9. Pisarcik will have to go back. They fake a blitz. Pisarcik's protection breaks down. He is hit. Flag goes down. Pass is incomplete. And the Saints have a whole lot of options right now.
Looked like the left guard or tackle got a stunning big Reese and tried to hold him as he made the cut at the quarterback.
Johnson was the intended receiver. The penalty is declined quickly by...
Offensive holding, number 78. Penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
Red Cashin is the voice of the referee you just heard.
It's Gus Coppins, the offensive left tackle. But I'll tell you, Bill Austin did a pretty good job with that group. They've been different people and different numbers every darn weekend for the Giants.
They've sort of been patched together, haven't they? Dave Jennings will punt for the Giants. And Rich Maughy, look out for him. Talk about your special team specialist. Maughy lets it bounce wisely. He couldn't quite get to it. And it doesn't take the roll like you would hope for if you're a Giant fan. It bounces almost straight up, and the Saints will start from their own 34, 1st and 10. Frank Marion was the Giant who downed it.
39-yard punt, and I'll tell you, this offensive team is beginning to get scary. Taylor, Zanders is back, John Hill, the former Giant at center, Conrad Dobler, Robert Woods, the big former Jet, and of course Henry Childs, one of the real fast, good pass receiving tight ends.
And a key man is number 8, at whom you're looking at the moment, Archie Manning. 2 big running backs in Chuck Muncie and Tony Galbert. Receivers are dangerous. It is an explosive offensive unit. Chuck Muncie gets the first carry and struggles for 2 or 3, not much more. Knocked down by Brian Kelly. Let's look at that Giant defense.
George Martin, Mendenhall starting again after the bad back of a week ago. Phil Tabor, the rookie from Oklahoma, doing very well, and Gary Jeters at the right defensive end spot. Pretty solid 4.
Pretty solid group of linebackers as well. Number 10 is Brad Van Pelt, Harry Carson back in the middle, and Brian Kelly in the secondary, Terry Jackson, Ray Rhodes, Beasley Reese, and Ernie Jones. They face a 2nd and 7 situation. Jeter jumps and jumps back, and Manning drops some heat on to Manning, but Archie gets close to a first down, not quite, before Harry Carson recovers and gets back.
5.3 yards rushing for one of the great throwing quarterbacks, and when he's healthy, he can move in the pocket. Watch this. Good pass protection. Hill's looking either side now, the center to help. Goes over and picks up on Mendenhall. And now Archie almost gets the first and could also get that shoulder hurt again. I would imagine Nolan's heart is right in his mouth right now.
Archie saw the defense converge and went into the crumple. 3rd and 1. Muncie and Galbraith, the running backs, and this will be Muncie over the top and near a first down, maybe and maybe not. Brad Van Pelt, number 10, is on the top of the pile, but there's a bunch of other Giants as well. It is a first down. Watch it develop from behind the quarterback.
Now Muncie's a kind of running back at 230. That'll get you 161 yards rushing one day and about 8 yards on 9 carries the next. Pretty good short yardage defense.
Why do you think that is, that Muncie seems to be the best running back you'll ever see one day, and the next day not quite so good?
Well, they said if you ring his bell early on the first couple of runs, he just doesn't run the same on that off day.
If the bell is ringing, it's pretty hard to run. 1st and 10 at the 45 for the New Orleans Saints. The Giants were here last year and lost, and here is a fake to Galbraith, and yes, he does have it. No yards. Gary Jeter led the defensive charge with help from Harry Carson. Let's watch that defense.
All right, you're right on the line of scrimmage. Let's see what kind of reading penetration. Good play. Brian Kelly really got penetration, then Jeter picked up. Looks to me like the Giants are very aggressive on defense today, very much off.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or the use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New Orleans Saints and the National Football League is prohibited. 2nd 11. Archie Manning in a throw-in situation tosses out to Galbraith instead. 4-5. And now the passing situation is even more evident. Harry Carson again on the tackle.
2 great big running backs. Pretty good draft. They're beginning to keep the good people in New Orleans and not let them go somewhere else and become stars. Here's the big young man that was with Missouri, and he had 74 catches, I think, a year ago. He's a great pass receiver. He'll do anything for you.
Good athlete.
He even kicked a couple of field goals this year. 3rd
and 7 situation, Wes Chandler. And remember that name is split wide to the left. Ike Harris out wide to the right. 2 good wide receivers and an outstanding quarterback. And that's a funny call. It's funny in the eyes of many of the spectators as well. On a sure passing situation, or what we thought was, Chuck Muncie got the handoff from Archie Manning, and the Saints will have to punt. Harry Carson on the tackle.
Archie calls most of his own plays. Now, I can't understand what Manning might have thought he had called in the huddle that would get him a first down on that.
I can't either. Rick Partridge is the Saint punter. Jimmy Robinson deep for the Giants. Partridge really roots it. Bang, and out through the end zone. That thing came straight nose down and took off. 50-yard kick.
And a 5-second hang time, and he's not even their #1 draft choice.
New Orleans nothing, the Giants nothing. 9:15 first quarter.
Welcome to the 80s and the better ideas from Ford.
Down the road, the better ideas. ideas from Ford. Better ideas for the 80s. Better ideas from Ford.
A new size Thunderbird available with electronic readouts and America's first fully automatic overdrive.
Building cars the Ford way. Bringing the future here today. Come along, we'll show you
The first new truck of the 80s and the only 4-cylinder turbo built in America.
better ideas for the 80s.
The first keyless entry system and America's only 4x4 truck with independent front suspension.
Better ideas from family Fords and Fords for fun. Thunderbirds and the truck it was. Better ideas for the 80s.
Coming October 12th.
Better ideas from Ford.
We're in the Louisiana Superdome. The New York Jets 7, the Miami Dolphins nothing in the first quarter. Pat Summerall here with Tom Brookshire watching the Giants and the Saints, and Houston leads Cleveland 3-0 in the first quarter. Cleveland got banged up a little bit in that encounter with Dallas last week. First and 10 Giants. Joe Pisarcik, the quarterback, line of scrimmage their own 20.
First pass, huh? Completed.
Robinson at about the 34, and an overhand left from Eric Felton on the coverage, but Pat Hughes took a wild swing at somebody. Let's go back and look at that.
All right, here's a little semi-roll left. Again, they're trying to take advantage of some makeshift blocking. Austin's team did a pretty good job of it up front. Good blocking by Turner up front and Simmons. Throws a little low and almost trapped, and Robinson gets his 5th catch of the year. And that Felton will really get your attention. Oh, I see. Hughes is having trouble with Shirk, I believe.
Gary Shirk. You didn't get a chance to see the Ernie Shavers overhand left. Here is Doug Coder straight ahead for good yardage outside the 40, stopped by Fetterspiel.
Other Kentucky Fetterspiel's good hard-hitting linebacker, but the outside, and I'm talking about Hughes too, and young Bordelon's out there, not too much speed on the outside in the linebacking spots, and I would sort of expect the Giants to work there a lot.
Second down situation, about 5 needed for Giant first down. Joe Pisarcik, the quarterback, no scores yet. Giants still looking for their first victory of the year. The fake is to the fullback, and the throw is successful to Ernest Gray. Boy, Clarence Chapman on the coverage, but a good throw from Pisarcik and a good catch by Gray, who's got a bandaged finger, and that's caused some of his problems.
That might be good because he dropped a couple of balls last week against Philadelphia. This ball is really stretched out and thrown. That's a real rope. And as you know, Joe can put a lot of stuff on it. Great catch by the rookie from Memphis State. And he really hangs on and puts it away. That is an encouraging sign for New York.
First down Giants at the St. 44.
Coppin's working on Reese, doing a pretty good job, too.
Here's Doug Coder as we come back to the real action. Stopped by Derlin Moore, but again, he got 3 or 4.
I'm telling you that New Orleans secondary and the Giant receivers are talking to one another on every play when they don't get near each other. Remember last year there was an up and down game that finally went in favor of New Orleans here, so maybe some old animosities are coming to the top early.
Last year, the Giants led at the half 17-7 here in the Superdome. New Orleans wound up winning 28-17, 2nd and 6. Pisarcik gives again to Coder. And Doug Coder has a Giant first down, but hold it a second. There's a penalty flag down over on the right side of the Giants' offensive line.
J.T. Turner is going to be called for holding, but he did such a good job of it, I thought he was going to get away with it. You want to see one of the great tackles of the year, what's the right part of your screen? There he is. He ended up on the bottom. He did a pretty good job of getting a lot of the defensive tackle, and it cost him.
Offensive holding, number 68, still second down.
Washington leads Atlanta 3-0 first quarter. The Redskins surprising a lot of people so far.
A short field goal, a 45-yarder by Mosley. He can still kick it. And
man.
And he's orthodox, isn't he?
Straight away, if that's what you mean.
Episcopalian, I think.
From straight on midfield. The Giants operate on second down, and Pisarcik gives on a quick trap to Coder. He gets 7 or 8 yards. Good call there.
They're working on Barry Bennett, the left tackle. It's a toss trap. Watch the fake out like it's a toss, and then back inside, and it really sets up the middle linebacker, Federspiel, with a guard pulling through the hole. This time, no holding, but of course, they have a lot of yardage to make up. 3rd and long, facing Big Joe.
8, in fact. Ray Brown, the safety man, who is just back from an arm injury and back in the New Orleans secondary, helped on that last tackle. Pisarcik facing now 3rd and 8. 5:50 left first quarter, no scores yet. Well, let's say 3rd and 6. Looks longer than that. The blitz is on from New Orleans. The throw from Pisarcik is high over the hands and off the hands of Doug Coder. And the Giants will send Jennings in the action.
That time, Joe didn't have to really put that much mustard on it. He could have eased up. He stepped up inside. Good block by Gravel on the outside. I think Joe just overthrew that and probably wishes he could load it up again.
Well, Joe, as you know, did not play last week against the Eagles at all. Resting from the battering he had taken in the first 3 weeks. 17 sacks and a lot of near misses. Dave Jennings standing at his own 42. And that'll sail over everybody's head and into the end zone. So the New Orleans Saints will have possession next at their own 20. We have 5 minutes, 32 seconds left in the first quarter. 41-yard kick by Jennings. Score is 0-0.
You dance on a river of wood, and you never forget that the spinning shapes in the cold, dark water are your only bridge home. So you keep on dancing. And when you've coaxed enough logs into place to build a good-sized town, you can finally head for River's End and Miller Time. Miller Time. Time for the best-tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life. America's quality beer since 1855.
When it's time to relax, one beer stands clear.
Miller beer, Miller tastes too good to hurry through.
If you got the time, we've got the beer.
Miller beer.
When Gail cooks up a special treat, it could be a killer.
Another piece for you, dear?
On The Last Resort, Monday right after MASH.
Miami 7, the Jets 7.
Bob Greasy to Jimmy Cephalo, the Penn Stater. How about Penn State getting whipped twice in a row? That hadn't happened in a long time.
And battered, really, yesterday by Nebraska.
Good place for the Giant defense to assert itself.
Archie Manning, the Saint quarterback. Big and strong and very efficient. He gives to Galbraith, and Galbraith breaks into the Giants secondary, but again the penalty marker is down. Harry Carson finally made the tackle.
Looked to me like the free safety man might have been tackled. I think Ernie Jones he was trying to make a tackle, and instead he got tackled. Watch the free safety man come up now, 31. He's right at the bottom of your screen. He comes up and tries to get into it. I believe it was... Oh, no, I think he might have just... he just missed the tackle. The holding was back to behind there.
Right.
Childs tight end, maybe?
We'll find out. I didn't pick up what the official Red Cashin said, but the Saints are 10 yards further back down the field. Manning going deep for Chandler. Wes Chandler covered by Ray Rhodes. Wes, last week, they say that they thought that he might never play again. He pulled a groin severely. Manning just went over his head. Wes Chandler with a great speed. Remember, we saw him in the Sun Bowl.
Oh, boy, they said that last week. They carried him off on the stretcher, and it looked like he needed a blue suit and a gladiola. They were afraid they were going to have to call for the Padre. And that all of a sudden he's running 9.5 again.
His place would have been taken if he didn't make it today by Tinker Owens, ex-Oklahoma star.
Well, there's some good offensive people for Archie Manning.
I'll say. 2nd and 20, Ike Harris wide to the right. And Wes Chandler wide left. The Giants fake a blitz and do not do it. Manning throws. Henry Childs, the tight end, got it. He had a big day here last year. Coverage by Ray Rhodes, but Archie Manning laid it right in there.
He's averaging right at 17 yards a catch. He has great speed, but the main thing is he runs an excellent pattern. And with Archie throwing it, here's the fake to Galbraith. Look at this. It'll be to the right part of your screen. I mean, right on target. And notice how it's not overthrown. He didn't pump it in there. He just dropped it in.
Archie really has changed his whole throwing motion from when he first came up out of the University of Mississippi.
Couple of shoulder operations, didn't he, Pat?
Yeah. But he has obviously recovered, and recovered very well. On third down, he drops and fires, and that should be the first down distance. Wes Chandler makes the reception. The NFC's leading receiver, the NFL's leading receiver, as a matter of fact.
And notice the difference pass this time. This time he did have to zip it. What's the difference in the way he throws this? About 4 sets up, and he said, I got to get it now. Now he has the gun, very sharply thrown. And I'll tell you, Wes Chandler could jump out of the darn dome. Here you are behind the Giant defense. This defense is not easy to fool with. Pretty good pass rush, and Archie stayed right in there.
10-yard pickup on that throw, which was done with almost all arm. He really didn't step up. Gary Jeter is an injured Giant who is departing and is obviously in pain on the far side of the field. 0-0, Saints and Giants.
If a man's favorite threads prematurely lose their threads, and the seams in his slacks seem to disappear, then he needs clothes from Levi's Sportswear. Levi's slacks, blazers, and suits hold their great looks because they're sewn to the tough standards that made the Levi's name famous for durability. Men's clothes from Levi's Sportswear, where quality never goes out of style.
Super automotive values from Sears. The Road Handler, or the Road Handler Ice and Snow. Sears' best steel-belted radials are now on sale. Buy the first at regular price and get the second at 30% off. And now get the full power of the maintenance-free Sears 48 for a full $7 off its regular low price. Now on sale, the Sears 48, $47.99 with trade-in, you save $7. At Sears, where America shops for value.
We talked about that Saints lineup. How about this lineup tonight on CBS?
Starting with 60 Minutes, that's going to be an unusual show, I understand. Mr. Castro.
Interviewed by Dan Rather. In depth, they say.
Trapper John M.D. He could be around us on any football Sunday.
Jefferson, Alice. Super lineup tonight. New Orleans Saints moving against the Giants at the moment. The line of scrimmage, their own 36, no scores. Manning drops again and throws sidearm this time to Childs. Brad Van Pelt stops Henry Childs after about a 5-yard gain.
That's a situation where your fast tight end is covered by perhaps a faster linebacker and one that's bigger than he is. Van Pelt can handle that play very well. There's young Sims behind Perkins. Coach.
Pisarcek talking with Ray Perkins and Phil Sims eavesdropping.
You know, Perkins got a late start, too. He wasn't named until, sometime in February, wasn't he?
That's right.
It's hard to get a whole staff together and then the book put out and everything.
Second down, let's make it 6 as Manning fakes and throws the screen pass unsuccessfully to Tony Galbraith. He almost broke it away, but couldn't quite. Jeff Weston is the Giant who made the tackle that brought him down.
Weston makes a heck of a play. Check out 73 and see how he reads it. Doesn't get caught. Tabor forces the throw, which you should once you've made the thing, and there's Weston making the play. Tenacious. Galbraith, well, you got to put him down and keep him there.
Calvin Miller in the Giant defensive unit right now. Well, Phil Tabor, they're the defensive tackles. Jeter is out. Third down. Manning goes straight back, throws outside Chandler. Not much room to work. Kept cutting back, but did not get the first down. And the Saints, after the stop by Calvin Miller, New Orleans will have to punt.
That's 5 of 6 for Archie Manning, but I think young Wes Chandler is going to have to learn not to cut back inside on that. Nolan may tell him.
Dick Nolan, defensive back with the Giants for many years, in the heyday years, was traded for me, as a matter of fact.
Was a valuable trade. That must have been front page stuff in the New York Times, huh?
I don't remember that it was. Flag is down. Jimmy Robinson fields it, fumbles it. And a scramble and struggle ensues, and let's see who gets it. Keep in mind, though, that a penalty flag is down. That punt stayed in the air 4.5 seconds, which is pretty good.
And whether it was a muff or a fumble, we're going to find out now. Giants have possession.
Giants have the ball. Let's see about the penalty flag. Let's go back and watch Robinson again, though.
Remember, if the ball goes on through without being controlled, and it did, that was a muff. And if the Saints had come up running with that ball, they would have thought it was a touchdown, but it wouldn't have been.
Ernie Jones got it back. And they're going to bring the whole thing back. It looks like the information we just got here in the press box is that Gary Jeter has a muscle pull, and in all likelihood he will not be back, and that'll hurt.
You ever seen so many muscle pulls? But each team has about 4 or 5 people that can't play from week to week for muscle pulls.
Let's listen.
Illegal cut by the receivers before the ball is kicked. First down.
First down, New Orleans. Those are the kind of mistakes that just really hurt you.
You expect to see them when an 0-4 team meets a 1-3 team, but you don't expect to give them away that way. And they had a pretty good chance of taking that ball over in good position. At least keeping the Giants deep in their territory again.
It'll be first down, New Orleans Saints. Archie Manning, the quarterback. Chuck Muncie and Tony Galbraith. The setbacks, and now Galbraith is the only one who remains. Muncie takes the close handoff and cuts back to the outside. Chuck Muncie down the sideline. Chuck Muncie inside the 40, knocked out of bounds by Ernie Jones.
A #1 draft pick from the University of California. He had 161 yards against Atlanta on opening day. If he gets started early, you have to call for help. You better play more men than the legal law allows. Strong at 232 pounds, I understand.
Strong and very quick and very big. Talking about a 233-pound running back. That's a lot of bulk to get down on the artificial turf. Ike Harris goes in motion to the left. Manning throws back to Muncie, and Muncie spins back to the inside, struggles for maybe a yard before Phil Tabor takes him down.
For a guy 230 pounds, it looks like he'd rather run outside than inside, doesn't it?
You know, it really does. I hadn't thought of that.
He can, though.
Wears glasses. You can see underneath that helmet. Houston 10, Cleveland nothing. The Browns unbeaten, coming off that emotional high of last Monday night.
Earl Campbell had a 2-yard touchdown run for Bum Phillips.
Atlanta 7, Washington 3. 2nd and 10 situation, maybe 9. Manning floods both his backs to the right, throws outside to Galbraith. Tony tries to cut back inside, but Brad Van Pelt was in good position.
Boy, Van Pelt played that beautifully. Look at Galbraith. He is such a competitor. He tried kicking for him, made 2 out of 3 on the field goals when Erxleben went down with that thigh, huh? He's done about everything.
As you mentioned, what a good athlete. What a competitor. Interesting, he was 2 out of 2 from outside the 20. And the one he missed was inside the 20.
That's right.
Which is difficult.
Archie's been good on 3rd down. Last week he was 8 for 11 against the San Francisco 49ers.
They're among the best in the National Football League in this situation. But that's not going to help you out on 3rd down, those calls like that. And that's 2 of them. And the crowd voices its disapproval and misunderstanding, perhaps. I'm sure Archie had something in mind. I don't exactly know what it was.
Now, they're a long way outside of Garo Yepremian's range, but if Erxleben was really able to play right now, he could probably tee up a field goal and try it from here, couldn't he?
We talked to Russell before the game, Erxleben, their #1 draft choice from the University of Texas, talking about how difficult it was to kick here, that the ball didn't carry. They talk about that the there is no wind disadvantage, but he says it just doesn't carry here. 0-0 score.
Get ready for the first new truck of the 80s, the new Ford pickup. 1980 Ford test trucks got over 1 million total miles of testing here at Ford's Arizona Proving Grounds. They have been tortured over steel-edge potholes, plunged into corrosive salt baths, and sent over the jarring Power Hop Hill. And for 1980, this new Ford has new aerodynamic design, best gas mileage of any American-built pickup, 19 mpg EPA estimate, 29 highway. Used for comparison, your mileage may differ. Actual highway mileage will probably be less. And 19 mpg is the best of any American-built pickup. For 1980, 4x2s have tough twin I-beam suspension. 4x4s have tough new independent front suspension. Come into your Ford dealer now for a special preview of the first new truck of the 80s.
Friday night, October 12th at 11:30 Eastern, take in a magic show. Magic Johnson's scheduled TV debut as the Lakers take on the Clippers. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
There are not many dogs down here in New Orleans, I'll tell you that, but that's one.
That is Gumbo, the third. Thank you.
Look at that tongue.
Jimmy Robinson standing. Partridge punch for the Saints high, and that'll sail into the end zone. Robinson doesn't even make an effort. And the Giants will take over at their own 20.
That punt looked like it carried pretty well.
Yes, it did.
Hello.
Speaking of carriers,
Sure.
14:52 left in the first half.
There's a paper explosion going on. It's an insurmountable problem, but Federal Express has an easy solution. We can take the paper that has to get somewhere fast and take it off your back. Documents, contracts, reports, whatever. So for as little as $16, we can pick up the stuff on your desk and have it cleared across the country on somebody else's desk overnight. Federal Express, when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight.
October 25th, 1854. The British Light Brigade is ordered to attack from the flanks, but muddled orders result in a frontal attack, wiping out half the brigade. Someone was not listening. July 2nd, 1863, Confederate General Longstreet misinterprets General Lee's orders to attack, advancing 3 hours too late. A listening error that may have altered the course of the Battle of Gettysburg. The fact is, whether it be in battle, government, or industry, not knowing how to listen has always been one of man's greatest problems. And we at Sperry feel it's high time we recognized it, that we set up listening programs in our schools and businesses. And lest we forget how critical a problem it is, all we need do is look to the night of April 14th, 1912, when the crew of the Titanic was urgently warned of ice, but chose not to listen. Sperry, we understand how important it is to listen.
Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire. The Giants against the Saints at the Superdome in New Orleans. Joe Pisarcik, the Giant quarterback, 1st and 10. Doug Coder, 4.5. Don Reese made the tackle for the New Orleans Saints.
Inside, cross blocking the center, and they pull the guard through there. You can see Turner coming through. One thing about Coder, whatever he has, you get it. He just loads it in there. Giants have not had good field position and have crossed the midfield stripe only once. That's when they got down to the 40 then.
5-yard pickup by Doug Coder, make it 2nd and 5. Perkins comes out wide to the right. Ernest Gray is split wide to the left. Johnson struggles off the left side and stumbles for 3 or 4. Before he's tripped up. Offensive center Jim Quack calling troops together.
Also the offensive captain for the Giants this year, isn't it?
Right. Harry Carson, the defensive captain. 3rd and 2 situation. No score as yet with 13:50 left in the first half in New Orleans. Saints are 1-3. Beat San Francisco last week. Giants 0-4. Pisarcik drops and throws to Coder. That'll do the first down damage. Pat Hughes took him out of bounds, the ex-Giant.
Just two old buddies, and they did exactly hug one another. Down, look at them talking to each other. Good throw by Pisarcik because he took something off. And a little bit of imagination. 3rd and 2, you're looking for Coder up the middle. Instead, you flare him. Watch him take a little off. Good throw. Comes two old buddies.
Maybe ex-buddies now.
Their wives may be fighting the next time they see each other.
Check the protection. First down, Giants. Their own 36, and again, Pisarcik throws high. Intended for Johnny Perkins. Dwight Scales, I beg your pardon, was the intended receiver, number 88. Ray Brown, the closest Saint. He was open.
I think Derlin Moore may have just gotten a little of Joe's arm when he went back to throw that one. Looked like the big Oklahoma tackle was making a run from behind the pocket and might have just grabbed his arm. Let's just see if, I think it's Reese. Now watch and see if he gets any of the arm at all. He might have just touched his back and made him gun that a little high. Pretty good pass rush by Reese.
Had him by the jersey just as he let it go. Again, Perkins comes out wide to the right. Pisarcik gives quickly to Doug Coder. Coder for about 6. Pat Hughes on the tackle again, the first man to make contact.
A million people will tell you he's carrying the ball in the wrong arm all the time, but he is not a big fumbler. He is very hard to pry the ball away from.
So it'll be a 3rd down situation. 4 yards they need with just over 13 minutes left in the first half. No score as yet. Reggie Mathis has been added to the Saint defense.
Pisarcik is 3 of 6 right now.
Saints fake a blitz and then do blitz, but the Giants pick it up. Just over the hands of the intended receiver. Ken Johnson, the fullback, who swung out of the backfield, and Pisarcik just had a little too much on it.
Pretty good coverage by the linebacker. Let's see if it's Federspiel or Bordelon that makes that move up the sidelines. Pretty good throw, really. I believe it's the middle linebacker, Federspiel, that was sort of in the wake.
He was the closest, but now Dave Jennings stands back at his own 25. Rich Monty.
What a great young person he is. Do they love him in New Orleans? Hey!
Used this before, and Brad Van Pelt is on the receiving end. He chucks a tackle. That's the 2nd time this year, and Dave Jennings has got the best passing percentage in the league. 2 for 2.
2 for 2. And the same place on the left side. Remember against the St. Louis Cardinals when this got that early touchdown and the early lead against St. Louis. Watch this. Everybody's coming. They're knocking. They're going to the wall.
Look at that throw. I'm telling you.
This fellow's a former All-American safety man for Michigan State. Everybody's playing another role, and pretty well.
That play picked up 20 yards and, of course, was enough for a Giant first down. Bill Austin in the headset. Ex-Giant offensive guard, now the line coach. As Joe Pisarcik has a Giant first down at the New Orleans 38, and he's going for more. Ernest Gray was the intended receiver. Clarence Chapman, number 24, is the New Orleans Saint who was nearest the football.
Pisarcik finally underthrew somebody. That time he cleaned it off, moved in the pocket pretty well, which he's doing extremely well today, and just flat threw it inside of the receiver by 10 yards. I don't know how Chapman dropped it. Well, I do know how. I used to do that a lot myself. It's rather easy when I think about it.
Miami has taken the lead over the New York Jets now 10-7. It'll be 2nd and 10 here in the Superdome. Giants with the football, no score as yet. Line of scrimmage, the Saint 38. Sarchek on draw play to Johnson, and he gets 3 or 4, but not much more. Barry Bennett was the Saint tackler.
Of course, Nolan coached for Landry for quite a few years and played with him and for him with the Giants, so you're seeing a flex defense once in a while on running situations, but that flex defense against the He's not a good pass rushing formation. So I guess you try to take advantage and throw when they think you're going to run and vice versa.
It'll be 3rd and 8. Derlin Moore. The Saint tackle has a twisted ankle. It's the Giant situation on 3rd downs. 13th in the NFC, and that's all the teams there are. Pisarcik fires in the direction of Al Dixon, I think. The tight end, yes. And it'll be 4th.
Sort of a low slider on the outside corner.
Jennings again will enter. No, it's Danilo.
That'll be about a 51-yarder.
It looks like more than that. About a 54-yarder.
54-yarder.
He is 3 out of 6 on the year. His longest is 42 yards this year. This will be about 53.5 yards out. With Randy Dean holding. The Saints jumping. They won't make it.
You knew right away, didn't you?
Could tell by the sound.
And the ball comes back to the line of scrimmage.
Back to the line of scrimmage is where the Saints will take it over. They're marking it now at their own 36, 1st and 10.
Spread your wings in the new 1980 Thunderbird with exciting options for the 80s, like the first keyless push-button entry system. Like this dazzling array of electronic magic, fuel readout, road speed, warning lights, and Thunderbird offers the first automatic overdrive option built in America for excellent fuel economy ratings.
Coming October 12th, but see it now during this special preview week.
Now, the best Zenith ever. System 3 is even better.
Even better.
The sharpest Zenith picture ever.
Sharpest picture.
An all-modular chassis designed to be the most reliable Zenith ever.
Most reliable.
And now, computer space command remote control. 105 channels. Zenith's most advanced.
Most advanced.
Zenith System 3.
System 3.
Now, even better.
Houston 10, Cleveland 3.
Cockcroft, a conventional orthodox kicker, a 44-yarder.
For the Brown points, Houston's record on the year is 3-1. Cleveland was 4-0 going into that game. And I think a lot of people had picked Houston to defeat the Cleveland Browns because of that injury problem, because they had been so emotionally high on Monday night. 1st and 10, New Orleans. This is Tony Galbraith. Breaks a couple of tackles. Near a 1st down. Outside the 45. Good run from Galbraith. Gary Jeter, who's back in the game now, on the tackle.
Good block by Muncie, number 42. He takes Kelly, the outside linebacker, and turns him in. Pretty good move for a big man.
Harry Carson right here.
Of course, he's just recovering from last week's virus.
By the way, Tom, the word on John Mendenhall, and the reason he's not in there is because of lower back spasms, as Manning gives to Galbraith on a misdirection that works well. Phil Simms, look.
And he's up in the bullpen. One of the most dangerous things in the world is to be on the sidelines with a clipboard under your arm. I think you'll be better off getting some playing action.
Looks like we might get some of that.
Taking a snap from Jim Clack, who is the snapping center.
He was the 2nd quarterback chosen in the 1979 draft. The first, of course, was the throwing Samoan, Jack Thompson, picked by Cincinnati. Ike Harris comes in motion, and Manning gives to Muncie. Chuck gets to the 45. Brad Van Pelt on the tackle, but this is the best-looking drive that anybody has put together so far, this one.
Saints are very smooth coming out of the huddle, getting up, coming off the ball. And it looks like Muncie is ready for not only a good afternoon, perhaps a superior one, and he is really capable of that. Young Simms is from Morehead State. Is that down in, what, Kentucky? Or?
Right. Or from where we are up in Kentucky.
Okay.
We're down in New Orleans.
Well, that's right.
Tony Galbraith and Chuck Muncie. Manning drops straight back. A lot of time. Chandler had it. Couldn't hang.
Jackson makes a great play. Coming across the middle, he will really hound receivers and often get the interference call. They're watching it closely these days. This is great man-to-man coverage. Chandler can, well, he was a legitimate 9.5 sprinter. Great coverage by the left cornerback. Oh, there's the helmet. That's a good thing to remember. The helmet, too.
And then before long, he'll fasten the chin strap.
A larger face mask.
3rd down. 7 they need. Looks like Manning might be changing the play at the line of scrimmage. They got the blitz on. Galbraith couldn't hang on. Close to being a lateral, but was not, and again the boos come. He did change that play at the line of scrimmage from what he had called to that swing pattern out of the backfield.
Looked like Tony Galbraith might have looked up and peeked just to see who was coming. Pretty good call, I think. Archie's disgusted because it was a pretty good play that just fizzled.
Phil Simms just might be getting ready for his first offensive series. Rick Partridge back to punt for New Orleans, and Jimmy Robinson deep for the Giants, standing at his own 10. Another good kick by Partridge, and Robinson will go with this one. Marty is right there. The muff is picked up by Brian Kelly. Hang time 4.1 seconds. And there's Phil Simms. Get ready.
He's 6 foot 2.5 inches tall. Here it is, Robinson. Remember, Tony Green has been waived. Good play by number 84 down under that. And Kelly gets the responsibility. Wow.
Reggie Mathis led the St. Tacklers. 0-0 still.
You survey where the land is wild and unforgiving, filling in empty places on maps that until now have been almost unknown. But now comes Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find, Miller High Life.
If you got the time, we've got the beer. Miller Beer.
Miller Beer. The more aerodynamic shape a vehicle has, the easier it slips through the air. And that's what happened to this pickup truck, announcing the first new truck of the 80s, the new Ford. It's aerodynamically designed, so it's more slippery than last year, has less drag, with the best gas mileage rating of any American-built pickup. And there's all that Ford-built toughness, twin I-beam suspension, and big payloads, too. Come into your Ford dealer now for a special preview of the first new truck of the 80s.
Next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular, see the style of the Pacific Gymnastics Championships and the power of the world's strongest men. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
Number 11, Phil Simms, is finally the Giant quarterback.
6'2.5", 216 pounds.
That could be the future. Number 11, as Ray Perkins, the head coach, looks on. The first play is a handoff to Doug Coder, and successfully done, but down goes that penalty marker again. Coder is knocked back into the end zone by Ray Brown.
Safety man and the running back had a few choice words, too. Tough spot for a quarterback's first indoctrination into this league is on the 5-yard line, and less now than that. He doesn't look like he's 6'2.5", does he? But those little league pads he's got on are, of course, those other people are large.
He looks like he should be just out of junior high. Or maybe that's because we're looking back a little bit further than we used to.
He does.
Offensive holding, number 68, still first down.
J.T. Turner having a little problem.
Ray Perkins on the right, Phil Simms on the left. Simms with the perfect physique and physical ability that a quarterback requires. Now, Hands off to Ken Johnson for nothing. Maybe one.
And New Orleans came out on that flex defense like Dallas runs it, and it's extremely hard to run against because they've covered all the gaps. There are people everywhere you have a lineman, they've got a gap inside filled with a player. It's very tough.
Ray Perkins over on the sideline with all of his mechanical equipment. Joe Fetterspiel in the last tackle for the Saints.
I think they might be yelling across the line something, hey kid.
Maybe. 2nd and 12 situation now for Phil Simms. He still hasn't put it up with his first NFL passing attempt, but he might be doing it right now. Nope. Nothing doing. Derlin Moore stopped Johnson. Phil Simms applauding what's going on. The first look that Giant fans have had at the #1 draft choice of this year.
Reports said that Giant training this past week with Simms throwing well and picking it up so quickly were the best they've had around there in a long time. Everybody was clapping and moving a little bit. He might be the answer.
Bottom of the first, Chicago nothing, Pittsburgh nothing. We'll keep you apprised of what's going on in the baseball situation as the afternoon progresses. Again, Simms hands off to Johnson. The Giants will have to punt. Simms does not throw in the Giants' first possession. The score is still 0-0. 6 minutes, 20 seconds left to play in the first half. And Dave Jennings, who has completed his only pass.
He also had one blocked a week ago against Philadelphia, and Jennings still averaged 40 yards a kick. There's young Simms. He looks like he's beginning to breathe again now.
Rich Monty back deep for the Saints, and Jennings in punt formation for the Giants. Monty is doing something most... Oh, what a shot. Chases him back inside his own 35 to his 34, and he checks around to the outside. There's Rich Monty down the sideline. Fine return. Down inside Giant territory.
Monty is really loved in New Orleans, and for every yard he gets on a run back, he puts $1 into the American Cancer Fund, and he hopes that bankers and business people match that in New Orleans, and a lot of people are going to put up a lot of money. And how many yards was that? 33, huh?
$33. Contributed by Rich Monty.
Outstanding young person in New Orleans.
And a walk-on, was he? First down, New Orleans Saints at the Giant 35. Archie Manning, the quarterback. He gives straight ahead Chuck Muncie, and Muncie bangs away for about 5 yards before Harry Carson can finally struggle with him and get him down.
Good block by Zanders and J.T. Taylor, the big fellow from Missouri, on that left side. They went inside just like the Giants have. Watch Hill go to the left, pull the big guard through there, and actually Muncie sort of ran behind the blocker. He'd have made big yardage. He dragged Carson a few yards, didn't he?
He did. 2nd and 6 situation, we'll say. Archie Manning. St. Archie, he used to be. Giants fake a blitz and do blitz, and Manning underthrows Chandler.
Somebody get a piece of it?
I don't think so.
Looked like it stuck to his finger. He's cleaning off the hands. Here it is, direction, everything going to the left. Just rolling back. Should be a calm, easy one. I believe that was just misthrown.
Like it did stick to his hands, didn't it?
It's not raining in here.
Nope. 3rd and 6. Manning comes straight back, and this time is going down under the Giant rush led by Phil Tabor and Gary Jeter. And the Saints hold it 1 second again, though. There's a flag down on the near side of the field.
That's the 7th sack that Archie's suffered this year. Let's see what the call is here.
Number 71 on the offense, moving on the snap. Penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
J.T. Taylor, the big left tackle, made a slight move, and they caught it.
And so there is still no score as Partridge enters the scene for New Orleans, and will kick number 17.
He's been
Russell Erxleben was the Saints' first-round draft choice. He has pulled a muscle in his right thigh and will be out at least 2 more weeks. Partridge hangs this one high. They may have a chance to down this. And Monty makes one heck of a play and knocks it out of the end zone. And the Giants again will have to start from very, very deep in their own territory. Watch this play.
There's number 84, and here comes Sims.
0-0.
The AC Spark Plug, buy 7, get 1 free sales on right now. Participating outlets where you see this poster.
Thanks, AC.
Americans are learning that if their car's plugs are misfiring, a tune-up with new AC Spark Plugs can help improve gas mileage. Thanks, AC. Now's the time to tune up because AC Delco is making it possible for you to get 8 AC Spark Plugs for the price of 7.
Thanks, AC.
Tune up with AC. Buy 7, get 1 free.
Thanks, AC.
July 9th. Disaster strikes the Blackwood Mountains, and Homelight is there, the Chainsaw King, as rugged and reliable as the men who run him. Stop it at Steelhead Creek, and you've got a chance. And soon, you're walking out the only way you know how, a winner. When the time in your life comes to get a chainsaw, get the King. Homelight, the Chainsaw King.
Here we are.
It's just another little old ballpark here in America, huh?
Just an average schoolyard. Monday night on CBS, The White Shadow, MASH, The Last Resort, and Lou Grant. Sunday night lineup is good, and so is Monday. Here on CBS, 1st and 10. Sims has Coder and Moorhead. That's Emory Moorhead. I beg your pardon, that's Doug Coder, with Moorhead leading.
Great special team play has given Sims absolutely no opportunity to throw and air that first one out. I think you ought to probably go ahead and do it, and even if you have to throw it 50 yards upfield and let it go to the carpet. Get that first one out of the way so you can relax and go ahead with your game plan. Maybe he'll throw this play.
All of his plays are being called from the sideline, by the way, by hand signals from Pat Hodgson. And again, Emory Moorhead this time for sure, for 2 or 3. So it'll be 3rd down. And here comes what looks like the receiving corps. Jimmy Robinson comes in. Ernest Gray comes in.
And the Saints defense is an average team on putting pressure on the passer. In fact, that might be the reason that Nolan's team has lost 3 games. They only have 7 sacks.
And perhaps now, the first passing attempt in the NFL for Phil Simms. And here it is. Deflected. Almost in the hands of Ernest Gray. Ball was hit, but still it was almost perfect.
Looked like a Frisbee. Watch it glance. Sims goes back, spots the receiver. Now linebacker gets his hand up. Maybe Fettersby. We'll check from the other angle. Boy, that ball's catchable. Not an easy catch because the ball is wobbly, but it's catchable. Let's see who does glance the pellet. No, there's Fetterspiel going the other way. Must be one of the rushers. Might have been Durler Moore.
Mike Fultz, I think.
Big Fultz.
Number 72. Here's Jennings, and again, a good kick. And that one's going to go out of bounds, and the Saints will have it in Giant territory with 3 minutes and 23 seconds left in the first half. So Manning and the Saints will take it over in pretty good shape. Giants nothing, New Orleans nothing.